If you're looking for a heavy-duty truck, but you don't want to spend the big bucks for a turbo diesel powered Super Duty or Ram Heavy Duty, this is the video for you. In this video, I'm going to show you everything about these trucks, compare specs, because they're very, very close. Right here, I have a 2020 2500 Ram Heavy Duty with a Hemi. And this is a 2020 Ford F-250 with a big 7.3 liter gas engine under the hood. And their payload, towing numbers, pricing and options are super, super close. I'm the king of the world. At the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you which truck I would choose out of these two. So let's get going by looking under the hood, then checking the specs, interiors, and options. And before you start commenting in this video and telling me that I'm comparing an XLT modified truck versus a Laramie luxurious model stock truck, well, I just want to show you guys exactly what you get with both. This color is called Billet Silver. It's a premium color that Ram is offering for 2020. And you guys have been writing a lot of messages to us, emails, and so on. You guys want to see more videos with this Hemi 8-speed combination, because for 2019, when they redesigned the truck, they put a brand new transmission behind this engine. But check it out. So the 6.4 liter V8 has been around for several years. The power rating hasn't changed. It's still 410 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque. And that by itself is a great number, but of course the 7.3 liter big block engine came along this year, so things are changing. And the transmission is made by ZF. So what Ram is doing is it's actually combining basically its power plant with a ZF transmission. ZF has a really good reputation, and they're putting them together into this truck. What do you get in the Ford? Let's open up that hood. This truck actually belongs to us. We purchased it at the end of 2019, and of course it's also known as a super tremor truck. You probably have seen it on our channel already. Basically, we purchased it because we wanted a heavy-duty truck and we wanted to try out this brand new engine. And the reason why it's really dirty under the hood is because we actually already taken it to Moab, Utah on an off-road journey. That video is coming soon. It's part of our No Pavement Needed series, where we're driving cross-country on the Trans-America Trail, which is off-road. But this is the main reason why we purchased it. It's the 7.3 liter, brand new design, brand new engine for this year. The power rating is 430 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. And this engine has made it to Ford's new 10-speed automatic. Yep, so now that's a 10-speed versus 8-speed. And we've taken this truck stock when it was fully stock. It's a crew cab 4-wheel drive FX4, and I got anywhere between 15.1 and 15.5 miles per gallon on highway, just running unladen with no trailer and no load. So for a brand new truck, which is a heavy duty, kind of a big displacement gas engine, I think that's a respectable number. But actually in the Ram, I haven't verified this fuel efficiency yet, but let me show you what I'm getting in this truck. Yes, so I am comparing a little bit of oranges versus apples here, because this Ram Laramie interior is actually pretty luxurious. But let's start the engine. And of course at the end I'm also gonna give a little bit of a rev battle between these two big engines. But here you can see I'm getting about 15.7 miles per gallon, and this is just a trip meter based, not verified at the pump yet. I will be doing more a full fuel efficiency run cross country in this truck, but that's also a very respectable number. And the ZF transmission in this truck is just super smooth, really shifting very smoothly. Of course I haven't towed with this truck yet, very heavy weights. But let's talk about capability, because that's also very important, and they're almost within 100 or 200 pounds of each other. The payload on this Ram, the way you see here, is about 2,800 pounds. The payload rating on that Ford XLT is about 3,000 pounds. And consider the luxury options, that's very competitive between these two trucks. And their towing ratings are almost the same also. This is 14,300 pounds approximately, and that's 14,500 pounds. So you're basically splitting hairs between these two trucks. And I'll show you, of course, the hitches and the suspension system in a second. But here, when you pay more, you get more. And I'll tell you about pricing in a second. Here you have a luxury interior. Although this is not a Longhorn or a Limited, you still get a 12-inch infotainment system that you also get in the half-ton trucks with Ram. You're getting all of the features like all of the cameras, system with surround view, front and rear, and you can select different camera views. You can look inside the bed if the tonneau cover wasn't there. You have heated and ventilated seats, power deploying steps. You have a lot of capability and also an ability to help you tow. Ram has redesigned this interior for 2019, and it kind of matches their light duty trucks. So you could see this sliding center console. There's a wireless charger, so it's prepared for work. It's got a 150 volt 400 watt power outlet over here in the front. There's another one in the rear. You've got USB-C and USB ports for charging and of course playing your media. You have a large center console right here. You've seen this before if you've seen TFL truck. So this is a very usable, very nice interior. Of course, you can also get a 6-person configuration if you so choose. You can get different bed lengths. This is a 6-foot 4-inch bed versus a 6 3/4 foot slightly longer bed in the Ford, but you can get 8-foot beds with either truck. The control for the transmission here is a rotary dial, so you kind of have to decide what do you like more, kind of a center console shifter, column shift, or a rotary dial like you have right here. This is a 4-wheel drive. This particular model does not have a rear locker, but of course there's a Power Wagon, which is a total off-road version of this heavy-duty truck, where you can get that if you want. Let's quickly check the back seat and then go in the Ford. Yes, and of course it has to be mentioned that Ram heavy-duty trucks offer the Mega Cab configuration, which adds a huge amounts of space to the interior. So if that's what you're looking for, specific interior volume and space, Ram would be a better choice. Ram redesigned the interior for 2019 and 2020 trucks, but the size of this cab remains the same. So yes, it's usable. I'm just over 6'2". I have leg space, knee room. I have decent headroom. My hair is touching just a hair. But the floor, you can see right here, is not a totally flat floor. So there is a hump right here. You could also, of course, flip up the seats, open this and turn it into more of a flat surface when you also fold the other side. So yes, but you're kind of losing some space if you're doing this. Let me show you the payload sticker in the Ram. It's 2,823 pounds, so very competitive once again. This truck is offering a power step. Of course, a Ford Lariat that would compete against this Laramie, pretty head-to-head, also offers a power step. So option for option, price for price, these trucks can be configured almost identically. But we have to talk about usability. Mirrors. So this is really important for towing. And I've been doing this, I've been reviewing trucks for about 7 years. And I thought about this for quite a long time. A little bit of controversy, which mirror is better? Is it single post versus dual post on the Ford? And the nice thing about the Ram mirror, especially for this luxurious model, you can control both the main mirror and the spotter mirror with power. You can fold the mirror using a power feature, but you cannot extend it using a power feature. You have to do it manually. On the other hand, the mirror on the Ford, I actually like this one better. There's a little bit more surface area, but the spotter mirror you cannot control electrically. But you can extend and fold this mirror electrically, which is nice. When you're parking in tight maneuvers, you might want to fold these mirrors. Both trucks do that. But for visibility towards the back, I prefer the Ford mirror to the Ram. All right, let's check out the Ford. This is an XLT, so it's not going to be full of leather. It's actually, cloth seats and other leather-like surfaces. And this is pretty much a standard Ford Super Duty, or actually very similar to an F-150 center console configuration as far as this infotainment screen and your climate controls. And this is an XLT, so it does not have the latest, automatic climate control system. This is a manual, and the key is also just a regular key. So of course you can buy a tradesman Ram heavy duty. You'll also get a key in most instances, or of course if you choose that Laramie, it's a remote start, push button start. So let's fire this up. We have a lot of miles on this truck. It's about 6 months old, and before mods, like I told you, it was about 15.1 to 15.5 mpg. Now when it's been lifted on a 3-inch lift with 37-inch tall tires, it's running at about 13.5 miles per gallon. But it's not that far off from what that Ram can do if you look at stock configuration. This does have a locker. This is an FX4, one of the more off-road worthy versions. This is not a Tremor though, and the Tremor is a truck that competes more against the Ram Power Wagon. But you do have 4 high, 4 low. Here's your brake controller right by your right knee. The Ram system was right here also, so they're very similar in how they're configured. I like this positioning. This has also a couple of cameras. You could look in the bed or behind the truck, but this XLT is not equipped with a front or side view cameras, so you cannot do a 360. Of course, you can get that in the Lariat Ultimate package or other trims above the Lariat, like the Platinum. Yes, these interiors are different because there are different trim levels, but overall Ram has the upper hand if you compare trim for trim. Their interiors, in my opinion, are more high quality, more premium feeling. See, in the Ford still there's a few gaps, a few weird gaps around the interior, and it looks a little bit more dated. So Ford is working on that, of course. They're updating their interiors. But let me show you the back seat. Whoa, what's going on here? You're probably wondering, why is there a massive tire in the back? Well, the reason for this being is that stock hitch in the back of the truck can accept about a 35-inch tall tire, maybe a 36. This is a 37 because we're modifying the truck, and currently it does not fit underneath the stock hitch. But overall this cab is a little bit longer than the Rams. Look at the floor. It's completely flat floor. So as far as rear seat is concerned, the Ford has a small upper hand, and the seats fold in a very similar configuration. There's also storage underneath, and of course you can just put a 37-inch tall tire right there. So that's handy. We have a solution for this, by the way. That video is coming up within a couple of weeks. We actually get a custom built hitch for this truck to accommodate up to a 38-inch tall tire underneath the bed. So speaking of beds, let's look at that. This lifted truck is huge. We also have a camper to put in the back of this, but for this week we actually took it out so we can do another project here on the road. But as far as the bed is concerned, the Ford has a slight upper hand, in my opinion, because you get a little bit more length in this bed, and of course you can get them both bed lined. That's okay. Access, you have this Ford tailgate step. Ram offers you a kick step behind the bumper. Different solutions, but same overall function. This step though makes the tailgate much heavier. I found that out when I had to remove it to put the camper inside of this. But of course Ford has many tie down solutions, and those eye hooks you see in the floor, that's actually new, and we're using that to hold the camper down inside the bed of this truck. And this one does not come equipped with a gooseneck fifth wheel hitch, although there is a place for that, as you can see in the bed. But let's look underneath at the suspension and check it out. Here's something interesting I found. A lot of the hitches actually state the rating on the hitch. This particular Ford one says 15,200, but if you look at the towing guide, the max towing rating is actually less than this, 14,500, like I told you. So it's not always what it seems. In order to find that number, you have to go on the web and look up 2020 Ford Super Duty Towing Guide, and you'll easily see that document and kind of find the ratings. In the Ram, you can also look up their guide online, but there's also a little tool where you can type in or copy your VIN number on the Ram, and it'll tell you specific towing capability of your exact truck. The exhaust system and the suspension has been modified on this truck, so it's not really a fair comparison for this video, but both Ford and Ram are doing much better on their ride overall. When this truck was stock, I put about 2,000 to 3,000 miles on it. It's improved ride, even empty, even when you don't have any weight in the bed. But I think Ram has a small upper hand on stock ride quality. We are on the road in Indiana because we're also doing videos with Gen Y hitch and also Lippert components. So we're traveling. I have a little bit of luggage in here, and I'm also bringing this Ram to Colorado for more testing on the Ike Gauntlet. It does have this optional tonneau cover. It has bed liner. It has a gooseneck hitch. Let me show you. Let me just open this. So it does have a gooseneck fifth wheel prep package, and that's almost all the way equipped. This Laramie. The final MSRP on this truck is pushing 71,000 bucks. It started at around 54, but it has every feature other than the sunroof. The Ram has blind spot monitoring. You can see the sensor right here in the taillight. Of course, the big Ford has this feature as well. But this Laramie Ram also has adaptive cruise control, adaptive steering system, so it's very easy to drive. And let me show you the suspension. Speaking of ease of driving, let's climb underneath. Okay, so this truck, of course, is not lifted into the sky. This rear differential is a 373. You can also get a 410. Of course, you can also get a different rear end than that Ford, a 430 if you wanted to tow more. And with this rear end, like I said, about 14,300 pounds of maximum towing, which is really competitive. And this is basically a 33.5-inch tall tire from the factory. Very similar that's on the Ford. Of course, it's a factory muffler. Check this out. Ram has a different philosophy on suspensions on heavy-duty trucks. And actually, all the trucks they do. This particular one has an optional air suspension. It's self-adjusting, so when you put load in the bed, it adjusts the height so the truck doesn't really squat. And it's using a 5-link, basically a coil spring or air spring configuration like you see here. The Ford's using leaves in the back. But the ride quality on this truck is really superb, especially that luxurious interior. I drove about 250 miles in this truck, and it really feels like more like an SUV or a crossover. And then over certain bumps, you could still feel it's a heavy-duty truck, but overall the experience is very nice, very top-notch. Before I fire up the Hemi, I also want to make a point that these gas-powered heavy-duty trucks are getting better and better every year, especially with new transmissions. They're getting more efficient and more capable. So that step up to a diesel is becoming a little bit harder to justify. If you do tow all the time, the diesel would work great for you. But if you tow occasionally, maybe a gas truck is for you. When we purchased this truck, crew cab, 7.3 liter gas engine with FX4 package, 4-wheel drive, about 55,000 bucks. This truck, like I told you, costs about 71,000. But I just went online and I configured the Ford F-250 4-wheel drive crew cab Lariat Ultimate package with LED lights, blacked out trim, 20-inch wheels, basically most of the options that this Laramie Ram has, and the pricing was at around $69,000, and give and take a couple of options. So they're very comparable as far as price, but at the end of the day I'm choosing the Ford because it's got more torque, I could feel the extra power, and it has a slightly more usable, bigger interior and a slightly bigger bed. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you choose a more tried and true Hemi or a brand new 7.3 liter? And go back to tfltruck.com for more news, views, and real world heavy duty truck reviews.